welcome to T-Boys TV and
Perry Sports about after what, a year and a half?
yeah, there we go. We're a bit rusty on that. As the weeks go on, we should be much better at that. But yeah, obviously we're here for the championship show. Obviously, we did, mainly do this predominantly on obviously Lewis's channel, but I do want to, try and get it out there a bit more, and have guys come over to his channel, come over from mine, vice versa. But yeah, a lot to get into with this. Obviously, the season officially starts tomorrow in the championship. Obviously, it's always a week before, the Premier League. And yeah, like I say, there's a lot to get into. Ins, outgoings at our clubs. Obviously, the table predictions as a whole. And, because the first games are, starting from tomorrow, we might as well, predict them as well. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first thing we'll do is obviously the table predictions as a whole, right? So the way we're going to do this is we'll have two screens up. Obviously, I can't do that at the same time, one each, and we'll probably take it, in turns potentially, where we think each will finish. So we'll get straight into it. So obviously we'll start from the relegation. The lot that are going down. So yeah, right. For me, I'll start off with me on this one. I reckon now it's quite interesting this season because a lot of people obviously writing off Oxford because they haven't been in the second division for a good while now. Obviously the teams that went up as well from League One will obviously be in that conversation. Which is obviously Derby and Portsmouth. Plymouth just survived last year. Sheffield Wednesday, they've done well in the end, but again they were not far off it. There's a few teams. Obviously, a few teams have got to, are in financial problems as well. But so it's interesting. I mean, for me, I reckon it probably will be Derby in rock bottom. I just think, I look at their manager. I know a lot of their fans are not really on board with him. I look at the few players they've got as well. James Collins, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a season like Elijah in the Premier League in the sense of, he maybe gets 10 goals, but in the end, I just don't think he'll be enough. I think he can definitely play at this level. It's just, I look at players like Sonny Bradley, former Luton player. I don't think he's good enough for this level. I was saying the same thing when he was playing for us, and they've actually kept him, which I'm a bit surprised about, especially when you look at, last season. I remember when they played Northampton, headbutted one of their players. It was absolutely crazy. Considering he's meant to be captain material and stuff like this. So yeah, I think it'll be them personally to finish rock bottom when it comes to that. Lewis, your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, so in 24th, I've gone with Oxford. I mean, people say, oh, you're only writing them off, this, that, and other. It's not even necessarily that. I just think losing Josh Murphy, isn't it? Is an absolute massive blow in their survival hopes. Yeah, they've kept what's his face? But I forgot his name. Cameron Bellingham for now, but I just don't think as a whole they're ready for this division as it stands. I mean, they might pull some shock results, but as a whole, I just don't think they'll be quite there, and therefore they're my 24th place. I just think young manager, I mean, might work. Got probably plenty of beats ahead of him, but we'll have to see. But for me, Oxford 24th.
Yeah, no, I mean, they will be, down there definitely 100%. It's just a matter of where do you put them really when it comes to that. And obviously they've got one of your former players, Ingram, as well, who we know is well. So I say that he was at us as well. You know what I mean? He weren't the best for us. I mean, might be okay for them, but still, I don't think he's a guy who pull them out of it sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So we shall see. But yeah, I'll let you go next with your 23rd team, your second team to finish second bottom.
Yeah, 23rd. People might be surprised, but they've been scraping the last few years, and I just think, they've lost one of the key players. Therefore, I've gone with QPR, and people might be surprised, but I just, they've been scraping a few years. I just don't think they'll have the luck this year. Losing Chris Willock is an absolute massive blow for him, I think. And I think him and Chair worked amazingly. Don't get me wrong, Chair is an absolute quality player. He's, probably people will probably say one of the best in the league, but I just don't. I just can't finish something won't click this season. I just think, they've been scraping the last few years, and I just think it's their time to go.
Yeah, I mean, I like to hear that. Obviously we've got a rivalry of them. I like to hear that, and it could very well be. And I think I heard something like Chair's going to be maybe like suspended for the first couple of games because of some stuff he's done, or he's going to get punishment or something like that. So that won't help either. And again, it is one of them players that I do look at myself, and I do think, well, how's he still there? But then I think, obviously he's done all this madness and stuff, and it's like, well, yeah, no one wants to get hold of him then because of that reason.
Yeah.
If he didn't do that stuff, I'd probably take him at Luton, to be quite honest with you. I think he's that good. He's one of them players. When I play their career mode, I always tend to get him, because I do think he is very good. And I remember even when we beat him quite convincingly, he was really good for them in that 3-0 game. So, yeah, man. I mean, my team to finish, obviously, 23rd is I've gone with an interesting one, and that is someone we have discussed, and that is Oxford. I still think, they probably will go down. I just think they'll give it a decent go, and I think they might be better than people expect, but they'll still go down. I think a lot of games they'll probably have closer games than people think. Again, it's one of them for these teams that come up, right? They've got to make their home form count. Whatever league you go into, you've got to make your home form count, especially if you're a newly promoted team, or you've got however you've gone up, whether you've won the league, promoted, whatever, you've got to give it a go at home. You've got to be up for it in them sort of games, and I think they might do all right. I mean, obviously we'll get into predictions later, but obviously they've got Norwich first game of the season. I'd say that they've got a good opportunity to try and get something there, if I'm going to be honest. But obviously we'll get into that a bit later on. But yeah, moving on to my team, my last team that I think will get relegated. And again, it was difficult for me doing this when I, planned it beforehand, because there's a lot of teams I think could be in that conversation. QPR, like you said, Lewis. I think Blackburn as well, especially if they lose Schmodix. I think they're going to be in the mud a little bit. They've lost Sam Gallagher as well. Who was meant to be our replacement if like an Elijah went or sort of somebody like that. He's obviously gone as well. And yeah, I just think they were terrible last year. Really, if it weren't for Schmodix, they would have been a lot worse. And I think he will go at some point. Whether that is a couple of weeks or whatever. Obviously, we've got till the end of the month, haven't we, with this transfer window? So I still think he goes somewhere, especially maybe to like a Premier League team, something like that. So yeah, Blackburn, like I say, Plymouth, they just survived last year. Rooney, a lot of people don't rate him, because obviously his time at Birmingham. I mean, for me, I think, I look at his time at Derby, considering they had a points deduction, I actually thought he'd done okay for them, to be fair. And I think, they've kept a few of their players, so I think they'll be all right. So the team I'm going for is the team I've mentioned, and that is Blackburn. I do think they'll go down. Like I said, the reasons I've said, I think Schmodix will go eventually, and I think they'll be in the mud really. Sam Gallagher, top striker, he's gone. So I don't really see where they're getting goals from, and they're very leaky at the back. Very leaky at the back. So yeah, that's my 3 to go down when it comes to that. Lewis, who is your third and final team that is going down for you?
Yeah, so in 22nd is the team you have in there. It's not Blackburn, it's Derby County. I think Derby, they will give it a good crack. I really do. I mean, the squad's not amazing. But if I look at the two teams I've put below them, I just think, I just got a feeling for some reason they'll give it a good crack. I mean, I do think the bottom 3 will be confirmed reasonably, well, obviously late in the season, but like mid-April, maybe fully confirmed. Like maybe like we played 3-4 games to go.
Mm.
I just think I don't really see where goals are coming from, but I don't see where goals coming from any of them really. But obviously the window is open still, but I just think I mean I will go back to what you said in terms of it does seem a little bit sour there still. Warren doesn't exactly have the most amazing championship record.
Mm.
So I think they'll give it a good crack, but I don't think it'll go down to the last game of the season, to say the least.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It could very well be like that. I mean, you have seen that in previous seasons, haven't you? Or it's been the fact of it's been like one team's pretty much, down and out, definite. You look at last season, it was like that with Rotherham, wasn't it? Obviously Birmingham, it was down to the last minute or last game, shall I say, and certain stuff like that. But yeah, it could very well be, to be honest. I haven't really seen Derby fans convinced going into the season, if I'm going to be totally honest. So could very well be. But yeah, big up to Zach in the comments. He says, "Let's go." Big up to yourself, mate. Big up to yourself for tuning in. But yeah, so that is the bottom three. So Lewis's is obviously Derby, QPR, and Oxford. So we've gone with two teams, two of the newly promoted teams to go down. Obviously, I've gone Blackburn instead when it comes to that. But yeah, moving on to the next one, which is the team to just survive. I mean, Lewis, who is your team?
I've gone with Argyle. I think
Same as last season, that would be then.
Well, yeah, I just think you look at it. I just don't think they've improved much at all. I mean, and there's little rumours saying that the keeper might leave, and that'll be a massive block. The keeper's very good, and probably one of the reasons they stayed up last season. I mean, obviously they have Hardy, who's a decent little striker, but I just got a feeling, Rooney. People say you can't just look at the manager, it's another. But I understand it, but from what I heard, rumours of from his time at Birmingham, he was part of the downfall in terms of he didn't get on with players, and if that happens again, that will just go to a sour dressing room, and it'll get a bit turmoil down there. But I just think they will just stay up, or I mean they could go, but for me, I think they'll just survive. Just survive.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. Like I say, if that was the case, that would be like last season for them. Which again, I totally hear what you're saying. Their keeper. I remember we were rumored with their keeper quite a while ago, like a good 3 seasons ago. Again, I would have took him. I'll be honest, because he does look very good. Obviously now I wouldn't, because we got Kaminsky and Shea's obviously the backup. But back then I probably would have took him. And it's like you say, if Hardy goes as well, that would be massive, because again, I rate him. I mean, they've still at this moment in time managed to keep hold of Whittaker, which is massive. Again, another player that's been rumoured with Luton over the past couple of seasons. So yeah, man, like they have still got a decent core. It's just whether they will keep it, like you say. But yeah, my team to finish, just outside the relegation spots. Again, difficult for me. I mean, obviously, there's one team there that we've said will survive out of the promoted ones, and that is Portsmouth. I don't know. I just think they'll do well this season. Obviously they've really got the player from Newcastle, haven't they? Richie. That's a good signing. That's a very good signing. Especially for a team like that that's just come back up. And if I'm being honest, without getting into it too much, guys, I think we will struggle a little bit when we play them at their ground, because I think first home game they'll be well up for it. They are a big club as well. Again, I don't really go into that trait. I think you're as big as you're playing, sort of thing, if that makes sense. But again, I just think some of the players they've got as well. I think they'll just survive. And I think their home form will be massive. You know, everyone likes a trip to Fratton Park. You know, obviously, if you play all the FIFAs, it's on there as well still, even when they're in League One and that. So, you know, they are, you know, they have been in the Premier League and stuff like that. And I think they'll stay up. I think out of the load, they'll stay up for me. So that's that. Shout out to Hannah in chat. He says, I've got Oxford, Plymouth, and Sheffield Wednesday in bottom three. Sheffield Wednesday, okay, that's quite interesting. I mean, the others, yeah, obviously we've put Oxford and, you know, obviously Plymouth we put in and around there. Controversially, I've got Sheffield United 21st. Jeez, I mean, I have actually seen, it might be a bit biased because he's a Barnsley fan, but I have seen someone say they'll finish bottom half. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't rate Wilder. However, I think the players they've signed in this transfer window, they've probably done the best business in the Championship, in my opinion. You know, especially when you look at players they've got all round. I think even they're getting Gilchrist. I might have said his name wrong, but the guy from Chelsea, Hannah, you'll be able to correct that. Yeah, exactly. That's a good. It's only on loan, but still, that's very good. You know, they've got O'Hare in, again, a player Luton we're looking at. You know, they've got what's his face? Striker as well. I can't remember his name from the top of my head. My memory's gone blank. But again, someone will be able to remind me in the chat. But again, what's that? Sorry?
Is it from an English team?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's another Championship team. My head's gone, you know, it's gone out of my head. But again, they have done some really good business. Nah, not Kiefer Moore. They have signed him. Yeah, they have. I don't rate him. There's someone else. I can't remember his name. I can't remember exactly. I'll have to have a look in a second. But when I get to them, I'll make sure I have a look. So, you know, I'll get into it there. But we'll see, Hanno. We'll see, innit? Like, we'll see. You might not be like, I don't know. You're not the only one saying that, to be fair. But I just think personally, the players they've got, they've probably done the best business in the Championship so far, if I'm going to be honest. Like that shows to me the ambition. Exactly. It shows to me the ambition that they want to go straight back up. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially when you look at. I have to be honest, especially when you look at what Luton are doing. We're slouching out here. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can I be convinced when there's teams on the rise as well and we're not doing enough? We cannot have Pelly Ruddock. I love the guy. How many times do I have to say it? He's a legend. But if we want to be a high-end Championship team, low-end Premier League team, can't be having him as the second option. Like, we just can't. We have to be honest now. He's not. He slouches a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not good enough to be consistent at that level. But anyway, I'll get into that when, you know, we get into that. Big up to Jamie in the chat as well. Good to see you in. Talk about Sheffield United, ironically. He says, how you doing, mate? Yeah, we're good, thanks, mate. Hope you're well. But yeah, so that's that. But Kiefer Moore, yeah. No, unless I'm thinking of a winger. I'm pretty sure.
Cam O'Hare.
Yeah.
Bernie Troy, maybe?
No, it's not him. Shout out to Lennon in the chat as well. I can't remember, mate. Honestly, my memory is shocking. But I know that, like we said, they've done the best business without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, Jamie's saying he can't see Blades doing anything. And he's obviously a Blades fan, as you can tell there. Yeah, that's a shock to me, man. I mean, like I say, I don't rate the manager, but I think them signings are still good enough. You know, much better than half of these teams. Like, don't get me wrong. Well, no, in fact, we'll get into that later. I was about to get into their game tomorrow. We'll get into that later. But yeah, moving on to the next team. Is obviously I'll go with this one. So this is my team to finish 20th. Again, difficult for me because I look at a lot of these teams, you know, and I think a lot of them will be down there. I really do. You know, people might say I'm biased, but I'd say Watford will be down there. Because of the fact, you know, they're trying to do fan shares. They've got rid of Dennis, went back to Forest, you know, and they've lost a key player. I look at their squad and I just don't rate their squad. You know, other teams, you know, obviously you could put Plymouth there. I have actually gone in the end. I went with QPR. So someone Lewis went with to go down. I've gone with down there. Again, I think it could be another not so great season. like I say, I think Chair is due to get a suspension or some sort of punishment, whatever that is. And he's their best player without a shadow of a doubt. Like you said, Lewis, they've lost Willock as well. And I just don't think they'll be great, guys, if I'm going to be totally honest. I know they started the season, decent. Ended the season decent towards the end. I think they won like their last 3 or something. But at the same time, I just don't think, with the players they've lost, with the Chair situation, they're going to do too much. So I've put them there. So obviously in 20th place. Lewis, mate, who are you going with in your 20th place?
I'm going with Portsmouth. I think, Portsmouth, they, I'm right saying won the league last year, didn't they? Yeah, we did. Yeah. And they've kept the core of the squad. And people might say, but that doesn't necessarily mean the core is good enough for the league. And I do hear that, however, I think they are a good side. And, they've been flirting with playoffs like years and years and years, which proves they are slowly but surely becoming like a championship quality team. But for whatever reason, they couldn't get to that, that last little bit to come up. And I just think, I just can't see it being a 1 year hello goodbye sort of thing. I think they will be here for a few years. I'm not sure how long exactly, because I'm sure they will improve through the years. And I think the signing of Josh Murphy's a fantastic player on the wing, and then you got when you got Matt Rich on the other side.
Quality. In that playoff final for Oxford, he was unbelievable. Yeah.
Josh Murphy, I think he's about 22, 23, and you got Matt Rich on the other side. Matt Rich, I'm not being funny, that's bags and bags of experience. It really is. So I think they'll find a way to, and I do think there's some shock results. And I mean, it's like you said moments ago about the home form. Fratton Park can be a fortress. And and you do see, especially in this league, that home form can be crucial. Coming back into the season, and I think the home form will be what helps them a lot. I think in a way they will struggle, but if they constantly get results at home, which I think they can 100% do, I don't. I can see him setting up quite comfortably.
Yeah. No, it could be. It could be. Like, we've covered a lot on them, and I've got nothing but respect for them, to be fair. I say that, they'll probably beat us now and slap us up, but nah, jokes aside, I agree. Like you say, Richie at that level, it's like I said earlier, Richie at that level, that's crazy. He's been playing in and around Newcastle. All right, he hasn't started regularly, but he's been in and around the Newcastle team that's been in Europe, recently. So, it's going to bring that experience, man, and nothing but respect to him, because I know he originally, he was born there, wasn't he, as well? So fair play, going back there.
They said something about back start of his career, but I'm not sure if it was like academy or what. But it was clear Matt Ritchie isn't Premier League quality anymore. That was clear to see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But for him to drop to a newly promoted side, for me, that is slightly surprised. I thought he would have gone to maybe like a mid-table sort of like maybe pushing a playoff sort of thing.
Yeah.
But to go back to the bottom, he's going to give everything, absolutely everything at that club. So I generally think they could be a team to maybe watch. I don't think they'll go high. But like I said, I do think they can pull some surprises in this league. Honestly, I don't see why not.
No, I totally agree, mate. I totally agree. And it's, looking at Matt Ritchie thing, he's not forgetting about his roots, which you love to see, because in football nowadays, that's rare, if we're going to be honest. So, they just, a lot of players just see the money and just go, really. There's no ambition for some of these players. So, yeah, I totally agree with that. Hanno says 20th Derby County. Yeah, again, that's who I've put in 20th place. Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of people have put them there. And it's the reasons we said earlier when it comes to that. But yeah, moving on to the next team, which will obviously be 19th place. Obviously, it's my go when it comes to this. My 19th place team, I have gone with quite an interesting one here. So I have gone with a team we have spoken on, and that is, for me, I've gone with Plymouth Argyle. I think they'll finish slightly higher than last season. I've got a feeling, like I said earlier, I know people don't rate him highly, Rooney, as a manager, but I think he's much better than what you've seen, especially from the likes of Gerrard, for example. I also think, I just feel the players they've kept at the moment, I know it might change and they might lose one, bigger player for them, but I still think, the main bit of the core of the squad's there. And I just think they'll do all right. I think they'll be in and around it again, but I think they'll finish off a bit better than last season, really, when it comes to things like that. And I remember watching them a lot last season, and they always give it a go. Like, I don't know if it's because I turned it on, they decided to play really well, or it was weird. Like, I remember when they gave Leicester a game, and again, it's another one for this team where it's like a lot of them for the ones at the bottom half where their home form has to count. And a lot of teams do go there and struggle, or they do just about narrowly win. I remember when Leeds played them in the FA Cup last year, and they just about beat them. Obviously, I know that's a different competition, but a lot of teams went there and struggled. To be quite honest with you, I remember a lot of teams were going there and saying we'll win by ease, and they didn't. They'd end up drawing or losing. So I've put Plymouth a bit higher than last season, and that's my reasoning when it comes to that. But yeah, that's that. So, Lewis, your team in 19th place?
Blackburn.
Blackburn.
For some reason, I don't know why, I have a sneaky suspicion Samodic will stay for at least half a season. I feel like if Samodic would have left, he would have left by now. Because the season obviously starts,
actually, for them, it starts tomorrow.
For them, it is tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah. I think Blackburn would have done a hard price anyway for him. But because their season starts tomorrow, I think it'll be even harder for teams to get him because it's like I said to you earlier, teams will start, seeing players as key players for the season ahead, and you would have thought should he been desperate to leave, he would have left by now, and they probably would have got a replacement for him, and he hasn't left yet. And I just don't. I generally don't see him leaving this month at least. But again, you can't do it on his own, and with Sam Gallagher leaving, I don't think they've brought an adequate replacement to mind.
No.
He can't do it on his own, and you saw it last season where he was basically carrying them on his back.
Yeah, literally.
I
remember when they beat Leicester away, he had an unreal game. I know Leicester were up at that point, but still.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a game that kept him up. Confirmed.
Exactly, big game for them it was, yeah.
And he can't do it on his own again, and should he stay, which for some reason I think he will now, they're going to struggle again. I just don't think they'll quite go down. And again, I think he will be due to him if he stays at us.
Yeah, no, it could very well be, another one of them seasons. And to be fair to him, if he does that well again, then his price tag probably go up even more, let's be honest. And it's interesting with them. I mean, it's a weird one because they weren't too far, off the playoffs. I remember the season we obviously went up, they weren't too far off it. And I don't know, man. It's an interesting one with them. Obviously, I know they've lost a few key players over the years. Obviously, not saying it to be biased. Like, generally, I know why they proper miss him now. Kaminsky, and to be fair, obviously he got injured, didn't he? Maybe we wouldn't have got him if he didn't get injured, because he'd have been a regular or it'd have been harder to get him anyway. So I don't know, man. Like, it's an interesting one, but yeah, there could very well be surviving again. We shall see. What's that? Sorry, I think it's gone quickly.
I am still here.
All right, still there, Cool. Well, Hanno, mate, I really like this prediction. He said 19th. Them guys. I mean, that would be well, it'd be better if they went down, but I like that you've put them low. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see what happens with him. Not a lot, in my opinion, is going to happen with them. But anyway, moving on to the next team, which is obviously going to be the 18th place team. Lewis, who have you put at 18th?
I've gone with Sheffield Wednesday. And people might say, why from that? Well, that Ugbo that had a cracking season last season, he's signed permanently, I believe. I know he's re-signed. I think he's permanent, I'm not too sure. And quite frankly, the manager, you saw the job that he did last season in, I think it was about half a season. What can he do in a full season?
Yeah.
Like, when Danny Warhol came in, people would have said they're dead, they're buried, they're going down. League One, here they go. And he came in, and I mean, I don't know what he did, but he must have given him some sort of treatment and basically said, we either sort this out or we're gone. And like I say, some people would have literally wrote him off. Goodbye, see you later. And they're in this league because people will just say down to him, but the players have to perform under him. And like I say, whatever they did, it works. And I just think if they can keep Rojo for the whole season, which I don't see why they can't, because I know City were linked to him and he said no, I believe. Or we just didn't go for him. I just think under Rojo, they are a solid team, and I think they will stay up. And I think keeping Josh Windass as well, I think that's, he was set to leave. He was set to come to Hull, and then he decided to stay. And again, that's another key, a striker. Barry Bannon, he's staying for at least another year, I think he is. Still, despite him being 33, 34, still a solid player. I don't like him. I think he's an absolute idiot, but if you look at him as a player, he's solid. He I just think they have the tools to stay up 100%. And like I say, under Danny Warhol, I generally think they can. Again, I probably will say this a few times in this video. They can surprise a few teams 100%. I don't see why not. I really don't.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, mate. And you could say on this prediction, great minds think alike, mate, because I have actually gone with Sheffield Wednesday myself to finish in the same position. I think, well, yeah, I pretty much echo your thoughts. Again, similar team to Plymouth for me in the sense of when I watched them a lot last year at home, they were very good. I remember when they played us in the pre-season, actually, they gave us a game, to be fair. Yeah, we won it, but it weren't easy. We went 1-0 down in that game. And I remember watching them. Obviously, I know you're not going to like me bringing this back up. And I know it was obviously the red card was not red card, but the whole game, I remember watching that. Who else did I watch them play against? Birmingham. Yeah, I know Birmingham weren't great, but again, the team in and around them, they beat them. And they got a lot of good results last year, to be fair to, especially at home. And again, I think that might happen, like you say. Bannon, a player I rate highly as well. Still at this, level, he's very good. And yeah, like you say, the manager, to come in and do that for half a season, what can you do with a full season? So, yeah, not going to waffle on about that too much because, like I say, I agree. I agree with that one, really, when it comes to that. Hanno has gone 18th QPR. He's also said both of them just stay up because of experience. Yeah, it could maybe be like that, unfortunately, because I don't like both of them. But anyway, the next team is obviously going to be the team in, where are we? 20th, 21st, 17th. 17th team. So 17th place. What team am I going with? I am going with them guys. I just think they'll be down there again. I would love to say they would get relegated. I'd love to say that, but I think there is worse teams, in the league. I do think, probably out their players, their only player that I actually think's decent is the keeper. I remember when we beat them 2-0 in the derby, he prevented it from being about 4 or 5. And I'm not even just saying that to be biased, like generally, other than Joel Pedro that day, they didn't really cause anything. And yeah, he's still a good keeper, I'll be honest. But other than that, I don't really rate any of their players. You look at their transfer window, they're re-signing players they've once had before. That can go one or two ways. Obviously they were looking at Luton players as well. Berry before he went to Charlton, they were looking at Taylor as well. And just the fan shares thing, like that's how you know you're in the mud when you're doing fan shares or trying to do them. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I think they'll be low down there, but unfortunately, I don't think they'll go down. I'd love to be proven wrong. That is one I'd love to be proven wrong on, definitely. But I do think they finished quite low again. Obviously, last season they finished 15th, so I've actually gone with them to finish lower this season and finish in 17th. So yeah, that's my team. Lewis, your team in 17th.
I agree. Watford. I think, I generally believe, the club's in some sort of turmoil for some reason. And I look at things like Tom Cleverley's manager. Really? He didn't exactly do the most amazing job in his interim. And yeah, don't get my full season, maybe a pre-season and whatnot will help him get used to the team, get used to management. And so I know, but I just don't rate the appointment for starters. And I mean, we all know what Watford are like with managers, and they like to go through 4 or 5 seasons. I mean, it never works. They don't stick to managers, and people say stick to managers. They help you stick to managers. It won't work, but Watford don't like that. And you look at their squad as a whole. Musa Sissoko, I generally think that's not a bad bit. That's not a bad bit of business. I really don't think he is. But as a whole, I don't see where goals coming from, and I think that's what's going to be, with most of these teams down here, where generally other guys are coming for. Dennis, who he's a decent player, especially at this level, he's gone back to Forest. Whether he goes back to Watford, we don't know. I mean, I don't know who their striker is at the minute. But I just don't believe they have the caliber to go above what they did last season. And it's like you said, fan shares. Like, what is that? Like, what's that all about? Are they financially unstable? Exactly. Something's definitely wrong there. But we'll see. I just can't. I just think they'll do a little bit more season. I don't think they'll go down. I generally think they will stay up. Sorry, Tyler.
No, I think so.
Yeah,
so, mate. Unfortunately.
I just don't believe they do any good this season. I really don't.
Yeah. No, again, mate, I do agree. And yeah, going on the striker thing quickly, or the attackers again, like they don't have a standout. Like as much as I don't like them, they have had standouts over the years. Pedro, Dennis, like we said, players like that. So it's one of them where you look at it and you think, where are they getting the goals? Like you say, I totally agree. So that's quite interesting. We've gone with 2 in the exact same position so far. That's interesting there. But yeah, moving on to the next team, which is obviously the next section, which is 16th to 12th or 12th to 16th, whatever way you want to put it. Lewis, who is your team to finish 16th?
Stoke always seem to be one of them teams where they start okay and then they just drop and keep on dropping, and then they have no way of getting back there. Yes, they've signed Sam Gallagher, who's a decent little striker. Yes, they've got, for me, I will say this, I generally think he's probably one of the best keepers in the league in that Victor Johansson.
Mm.
You know, you see what he did.
He is good. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, a lot of them have gone down, but he had no defence in front of him. And again, I don't know who their defence is, but I just don't believe. I just think Stoke are just one of them that, you know, they were in the Premier League. I don't know how long ago it was now, but I don't see a way they go up this league and be a surprise package as what some people would like to maybe think they are. But for me, I think again they'll be lower end of the table. I just don't believe they have the caliber of the squad to stay in the mix, because you look at this league and don't get me wrong, majority of this league transfer business has been slow. But if you look at the teams below, you know, they again the caliber ain't really there, and I think they can have a decent season. I just don't believe they will, because I just think they'll be lacking goals, and that's really what happens with Stoke. Their defence is okay, but they lack goals, and you need that mix. And for me personally, I just don't think they'll surprise many people this year.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough, mate. I mean, yeah, you know, I do agree. I do really agree with that. But I haven't quite put them there for me. Gone a little bit different in this section. I have gone with quite an interesting one, you could say. But again, I don't think it is that, you know, interesting really. I've actually gone with Preston. Now, I know obviously, you know, they do a lot of business with obviously Liverpool, so they get a lot of Liverpool youngsters that are good and coming through and stuff like that. But at the same time, as much as I think Ryan Lowe is decent, I just think a lot of their fans are not getting on board with the way they're playing. They're getting very frustrated. Again, they're always a team for me, right? They start the season off well. I know Luton have got them. I think it's third game of the season, I think, at their ground, which again, at home, they're another team which do okay at home a lot of the time. But then again, it's just away. They're not great. Their fans are not on board with the playing style, and I get it. You know, they're not managers and that, but they've had enough of it. Really, they need a change, but they're not getting that quite a change. And I just think they'll finish, you know, mid-table, which again they are always in and around that sort of area. Really, I mean they have a slight push for playoffs. You know, at the start of the season, you think, oh, they might get in it, but the championship's ruthless, as we know. There's so many games that you know you will lose at some point, but they go on a losing run or just not a winning run, and it just messes them up really. So I've gone with you know what's her name, Preston. That's it. I was about to say Portsmouth to finish there. So yeah, moving on to the next team, which Lewis, mate, I don't think you'll like this one. I have actually gone with Hull. Now, again, I know last season they were, you know, they'd done, you know, pretty decent in the end, you know, close to getting playoffs, not quite. You know, obviously they had good players that come in and stuff like that. I just think this time round, I think, you know, I know obviously you've signed a keeper today, which we'll get into a bit later on, but I just think, you know, there isn't quite that firepower up front. Obviously, I know you've got Giles from us, which again, it's still interesting to see how he is. But yeah, I've gone with Hull there, which yeah, you might not like, but yeah, man. Who's your team in 15th?
It's not fine. Give me a handshake. You know, I
Gone with Hull as well, yeah.
I'm struggling to find words what's happening at that club at the minute. I just think, you know, I'm going on Saturday, but it's just like I don't have hope at all. And obviously we'll get back in later, but it's just like nothing's going right at the minute. Nothing's going right. You know, we lost Villagine, well, obviously Laps loan finished, Carvalho loan finished, Morton loan's finished, Greaves left, and
Yeah,
there's no sign of replacements at the minute. I mean, there's been news of again Liam Miller for 3 million, I think it is. And there's rumours of this Wigan defender, but it's just like nothing's fast flowing, nothing's well, some things are close, but not enough. I just like there was a thing the other day saying, we had this sort of window before our first game of the season last season, but I don't see us getting them players like that caliber of players again. And it's just like,
yeah.
We've had our time, we've missed our opportunity, and yeah, I mean, we've got one senior strike on Saturday. What's that going to do? Nothing. And he's not even going to be fully fit because he just got injured. But yeah, I don't think it'll be a fun season for me. I can't lie. But yeah, 15th. And the manager, don't get me wrong. I do like what I saw in pre-season. We didn't win many games. Well, the 2 pre-season games I went to, but as a whole, I just don't believe the squads are there at the minute, and I just don't think some of the players are buying into what he wants to do in terms of playing style at all.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. It's like you said, a lot of them players, like massive players last season, and you're not on it. You're not on it with the trying to replace them. Really, it's slow and it's like it's not looking great. But again, you're much better than a lot of them teams that we've obviously put you above. But yeah, it's not looking great if we're going to be honest. But yeah, moving on to your 14th. Who is your 14th place team, Lewis?
I've gone with Millwall.
Interesting.
Millwall. I think again they could be surprise brackets. However, I mean the Den again is not the easiest place to go to whatsoever. And I just believe they'll just have one of them average seasons that they have done the last few seasons where they've pushed playoffs and then they've just dropped off again.
Similar to Preston in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think Millwall do tend to usually start well, and in the middle of the season they tend to lose it, and then back in the season they try and recoup it, but by the time they recoup it, it's too late to really show on the teams above them. And Macaulay Langstaff, it's a good signing, but the jump from League Two to Championship is quite big. And don't get me wrong, to get 30 odd goals, I think it was last season, there's a player in him 100%. But I think obviously they want to do it for McAtee Sarkic, obviously rest in peace on that.
Yeah.
But I just think they have one of them bang average seasons that they tend to usually have recently.
Yeah, I could very well do, to be honest. That's fair enough. I mean, my team to finish in that position is a team that we have mentioned, and that is Stoke City. I think they'll finish roundabout there, where obviously, we've quite similar on where we've put them, a few spaces now. I just think with them, it's one of them where, like I say, obviously Sam Gallagher, that is a good signing, but I still don't look at them and think they can be right up there, if I'm going to be totally honest. When it comes to things like that, obviously, the keeper, like you say as well, he's a top keeper, but again, I just look elsewhere, they need some better players, in my opinion, in other positions to really, really be up there. Again, though, it's another place, especially for us. Luton, we have struggled against them away. Over the last couple of years. And again, I know it's another midweek as it stands when we play them again at their ground. And it can be difficult to go to. Obviously it's famous, for its, can you do it in this weather in Stoke and stuff like that, rainy night and all of that. But again, they're not that team for me that's going to be right up there. Like we've both said when it comes to that. But yeah, moving on to the next team. Which is obviously my 13th place team. I have actually gone with Swansea. Now, again, they're a team that I think I'm pretty sure the season Luton were last in the Championship, I had them quite high. I think I actually said they'd be the dark horses, and they were actually up there for a bit towards the end, I remember. And then there's a few games that just knocked them off it, really. But I just think with them, I'm not really too convinced, if I'm going to be honest. I think there's a decent side, a decent mid-table side, but again, similar to Stoke for me, really, where I'm not convinced that they're going to be right up there, or anything like that. Especially when I look at a lot of other teams in this division, in this season. So, yeah, Swansea there for me. Lewis, who is your team in that position?
13th, innit? No. Yeah, 13th.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I've gone with West Brom. People might be a little bit surprised about that, but I look at West Brom at the minute and say they are in an absolute mess at the minute.
Facts.
Thomas Asante's left them. Costello's left them. Probably a few more has left. I think Kipper's left them actually as well. Might not be true, but I think I saw that somewhere. And they're in a financial difficulty, and they are in. I'm pretty sure they are in a financial transfer embargo. I think, or very close to one.
Yeah, you're right.
I just, obviously you physically cannot sign people at the minute. It's just like you're probably bound to lose a few more, and if you can't replace them, then what can you do in that sense? And they showed their quality last season, but should you not be able to get out of this situation and you get some key injuries and you get to January and you still can't buy people, you can't replace them people. And I just generally think it'll be one of them bang average seasons for them. And it is a shock because you would usually say they'll be up there. But this season, I'm not too sure they'll be up there this season. I generally think they'll struggle. I think they'll come mid-table. I don't think they'll be that lower or get friends with relegation, for God's sake. But I generally don't believe they'll be up there this season. I just don't see how they possibly can be at the minute.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so good.
Do something.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Yeah, no, I totally hear what you're saying, to be honest. Like you say, they can't obviously, but sign players. I also think, right, and I know sometimes you don't take too much into pre-season, but I look at their last pre-season game. They lost 4-1 to Birmingham, which ain't great considering, one, it is a slight rivalry, and second of all, Birmingham are in League One now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a good look for me. So, they could be down there. And when I was working my predictions out, I was debating to put them, maybe a bit lower, but obviously you lot will see in a bit where I have ended up putting them. But they could be. My team that I'm going to go with when it comes to that area is I am going to go with Millwall, which again is another team Lewis mentioned a bit earlier on. Again, I mean, a player that we haven't mentioned that they have got hold of, which is good, I think, is Tanganga. I think he's very good at that level. He was very influential when he come in for them last season. Obviously, I remember when they beat Birmingham, he did score the winner in that game. But again, I just don't think they'll do too much. Like we said, they're a team that tends to start off well, but I do think players like Tanganga, they'll be in a decent position because I do rate him. Because again, it was either us or Millwall that he was going to go to. It's probably, like I said at the time, it was probably always going to be them because, he's already been there for them. He was on loan. He knows the surroundings. It's a London team, so it's easier for him because obviously he was at Tottenham. But yeah, I think he'll do well for them. But nothing, they won't set the world alight. But I think they'll be in a decent position for me, and that is obviously in that position, which was obviously 12th place for me. So, yeah, that's my 12th place team. Lewis, your 12th place team?
I've gone with Preston North End.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think they won't have the start they usually have in terms of they win a few games and they're up there. But I generally think what will happen is they will sack Ryan Lowe around quite early in the season. I'm going to say they'll sack him around October. They'll get a decent manager in. couldn't tell you who that manager would be. And I think they'll just turn the season and they'll start getting them wins and surprises potentially. And I think they'll be. I don't think they'll be in the mix for playoffs. Like, I think it'll be a typical Preston North End season, slap bang middle.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Could very well be. When it comes to that, we shall see. But moving on to teams that will be in the, in our opinion, in the playoff contention. So obviously starting off with 11th place. Who have you gone with for your 11th place, Lewis?
Gone with Swansea.
Interesting.
They've got a very, very solid defence. And I know they've lost Yoey Yates. I assume they've replaced him. I'm not too sure. But I do believe that they, as a whole, they have a decent little side. And under who's that? Frino's their manager. Who's their manager? I do not know.
I can't remember. I'll be honest.
No, I don't even know. I think their manager. You saw. I think last season they did kind of find a way, and I remember going down to Swansea last season with seeing they looked decent. I mean, I know we're going to have one game, but they were a decent little side. Unfortunately, we did come back and probably we didn't win the game, but we looked good in the second half. But they can be a decent little side, and I think they can surprise a few little sides. I do believe. I don't think they'll be in the mix fully, but I probably wouldn't write them off to be in that mix.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, like you say, obviously that is your 11th place, so that is teams that do tend to be in the conversation because it is mainly tight, especially in that area in the Championship. And it could be. I said it a couple of years ago, and they were. So we shall see. I mean, my team that I've gone with it is another team we have mentioned, and for me, I'm going with West Brom. I think they still might be in the conversation, but they won't be, as good. Pretty much the reasons you've said, Lewis, mate. They can't, get anyone in. Like I said, I know it's pre-season, but at the same time, losing 4-1 to Birmingham, a team that are now in League One, it's not a good look, especially in the fact that it is the last pre-season game that they had. It's not a good look for me. So, yeah, I'm not going to ramble on too much about them. Same reasons, really, and that Birmingham reason, really, when it comes to that. Moving on to the next team, which is 10th, so the top 10. I've actually gone with Cardiff. Now, I know we were rumoured with, looking at their, not their striker, their defender, but they reported, that they're trying to, if they were to sell him for 10 million, which again, to me, you can't really grumble because at the end of the day, he's got a contract till 2027. So it's one of them. They're not forced to sell, so they don't need to, put a cheaper price on it. But I just think I look at it, a lot of their players that they've still got, and I think they'll do all right. I think they'll actually do all right this season. Usually, especially the last couple of years anyway, they've been a bit of a mid-table side, but I think they could, have a push for, the playoffs potentially, like I say. And I said it'd be Swansea a couple of years ago, and they did have a decent push. Now I think it'll be their rivals. So, yeah, Cardiff in 10th place for me. Lewis, your 10th place team?
Sunderland have a good season this season. Obviously, they had a good part of the season last season, but they fell off and they hired Michael Beale. And then they sacked him and they brought in, I don't remember who it was. It wasn't Mowbray beforehand. And then they did kind of no, they didn't hire him. They had an interim, and obviously under an interim, you don't really get to see full quality side. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen they've got a full-time manager now. Yes, they have, and I can't think of his name for the life of me because it's someone I've never done in my life. And for me, obviously they have a young team and it's full of quality players. Like young, you could almost say like you're Brighton of the Championship and you're Dortmund of the Championship. They make good young, potential players and let them go and come back to the Premier League. And I think so far, with them keeping Jack Clark and Joe Bellingham, who has confirmed obviously he will stay for the season, it's very good that they've kept them. And obviously you've got Pierre Ekwa, I think he's still there, and Charlie Rigg, 16-year-old who's coming through. Overall they have a decent little side. Obviously, and obviously you do have like your not older players, but like your older players compared to what they have in terms of coming through and their main ball of the team. And I think having a young team is good at this sort of level because you kind of like create a bond with like, people around the same age and same sort of quality. And I just think, I think they will miss out, but they'll definitely be in the conversation. And I generally think it'll be close from Sunderland upwards in terms of the point differential for the playoffs. I do believe they'll make some slip ups against the lower sides, and that'll cost them in the end. I mean, obviously, again, I like what you said earlier in the video about home form. Stadium Light's not an easy place to go to whatsoever.
Yeah, especially when that crowd's on it. The biggest ground in the league, isn't it?
By quite a distance.
Yeah, exactly.
And when the Stadium Light can get going, boy, does it going. And I generally don't see this season. I don't see many people going there and get a proper result. So I think that'll definitely count to where they finish. But I mean, we'll see. I just think they'll have a good season. They're definitely a better season than last season, and I don't see why they can't be in the conversation. You saw what they did the first season, obviously, when they played you guys, and obviously they lost about the beat you at Stadium Light, lost at your place.
Yeah.
I generally can see scenes like that, but not as good.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, like you say, they managed to keep a lot of these players, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do. Your team, no, actually, it's my go, isn't it? I swear. Actually, coming on to that, so the next next team to finish ninth, I'm going to go. It's interesting. I mean, for me, I've actually gone with a team that maybe some people won't put that low, and again, I just don't think they'll do as good as last year, and that is Norwich. Again, I know they've got a few good players still. Sargent, I've always thought he was pretty decent. Jack Stacey, obviously former Luton player as well, and they have got good players. But I just think, not too sure on the manager. I'm going to be honest. I'm not really too sure on the manager going forward. And I just don't really think they'll do too much. I thought in a way they fluked their way a little bit into the playoffs. If I'm going to be honest, last season, they weren't great, especially in the game, that they played against. Who was it? It was Leeds, wasn't it? Was it Southampton, West Brom in the other one? Just don't think they were great, to be honest. Again, I think they're still being a conversation. They've still got good players, but for the players, but I just don't think they're getting them this time. So I've gone with Norwich to finish there when it comes to that. Moving on to obviously the next team. Who is your ninth place team for you, Lewis?
Bristol City. I think they have a good season. I really do think they have a good season. And people say a surprise package. I generally, Ashton Gate again, not an easy place to go to whatsoever. I know that from experience. I'm not going to get into that though. I'd rather not. But yeah, overall, I think they have a decent squad. I mean, obviously, Tommy Conway seems to have a little fallout with them, and apparently he's training with the under-21 one squad. Something deaf like that. I know City won him. I think like 4 teams do. But people say surprise package. I'm not too sure about surprise package because they have kind of been knocking on the door the last few seasons. They've just dropped off at the crucial stage of the season, and this season, for some reason, I can see him clicking and not dropping off when they can. I mean, honestly, I think losing Andreas Reimann is a shame. I think he's decent. I think he's still a decent little player. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think they'll have a good season. I don't think they'll quite get playoffs, but they're definitely up there.
Yeah, no, it's interesting for them for sure when it comes to that. Moving on to the team that will finish eighth. In your opinion, who have you got in your eighth place? And then I'll do the next two, and then
I thought Cardiff. People will be surprised, like, why have you been so high? Their transfer business has been solid so far. Solid. Yeah. Can't quite remember them all to mind. I know Callum Chambers is on there. It's a very good business, especially centre back. I assume they'll play centre back because they've got Perry G, who plays on the right. He's a good player. I do rate him. Mark McGuinness, obviously, to go obviously Luton, I can't link to him. He's good. And I think, they'll click the season and, they're fighting quite a few teams off to get some players that you probably wouldn't think Cardiff would beat them to. And, they are building that little stability, and I just got a feeling for some reason they won't quite get playoffs, but part of me thinks as well they will get playoffs. I don't know who for exactly. But I can generally think them. I can generally see them being in the fight. I think they can beat some of the teams. I generally think that there could be a shake-up to the top six and the top two in terms of taking points off them. And people might think how, but if you look at their business, they're not looking like a bad side at the minute whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Again, that's why I put them quite high myself when it comes to that. But yeah, moving on to obviously the next teams, which is obviously the the last team. The second last team for me. I'm going to go with. Now it's interesting for me doing it. I'm going to go for a team we've already mentioned, and that is Sunderland. Again, I think they'll be right up there, like you said. Lewis, the players they've managed to keep hold of. I think they'll be up there still. I'm surprised there hasn't been more rumours about Jack Clark, for example. Obviously we know Bellingham's got a high expectation, if we're being honest, because of his brother as well. But yeah, it's good that they managed to keep hold of him. Them players so far, and they're a little bit off the radar, I feel. Like we said earlier, the stadium can be a fortress. When the fans are on it. And yeah, I think they'll be up and around the conversation again for sure when it comes to that. And then moving on to the last team for me in this playoff contention from 7th to 11th, I have actually gone with Middlesbrough. Again, another team. I think they'll be up and around there. Again, Latte Lath. I know he had a very good season last season. I remember pretty much looking at a Middlesbrough result and he was literally scoring like pretty much all the games. But again, I think they'll be up there. They were in the conversation. Well, in fact, they did get playoffs, obviously, when we were last in there. And, again, they're another, they've got a loyal fan base, and they'll give it a go for me. But I just don't think they're quite getting the playoffs. But they'll definitely be in the conversation for me. So they're my last team in the playoff contention. Lewis, your last team in the playoff contention?
I'm going Norwich. I think you're right. I'm off a little bit. I think they kept the core squad, and Kevin Osara is obviously an absolute baller, and people like that, and obviously Sargent, which is it.
Just had to go quickly. We'll be back in a second. But that's interesting. I mean, outside, I still think they'll be up there. As you were saying, Lewis.
Yes, I'm coming in. No, I think they'll be up there. I think they've kept the core of the squad. I mean, they've lost out Sam McCollum, who's a very decent player. Actually, like you said, Jack Stacey. Their centre backs are a little bit concerned to me, but I think they'll be good enough to keep the ball away from there as little as possible. There's a rumour obviously that Todd Campbell, who obviously was there prior to his move to Rangers, that he's going to go back there, and I think that'd be a great bit of business. For whatever reason, it hasn't worked out at Rangers, but there's definitely a player in him, I think. Before he went there, he was into Arsenal and Villa and Chelsea, but people like that. So no, I think they'll be around there. I think they'll just miss out. I think the quality above them, but they're definitely above there. I mean, it's like you say, if they start how they finished last season, then they may struggle a bit more. But I'm sure they'll figure out why things didn't go right this season and try and figure it out. But I just don't think they'll quite do enough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I haven't put them too far away. Only 2 spaces away from where you put them. And again, like we said earlier, points are probably going to be very tight again. In them positions, they usually tend to be when it comes to that. But yeah, moving on to obviously the playoffs now. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I mean, Lewis, for you, your remaining teams, you've got Coventry, Burnley, Leeds, Luton, Middlesbrough, and Sheffield United. Who is your team to get in the 6th place and get in the playoffs?
Middlesbrough. And I do think it'll be close. I think they'll clinch it on last day. I don't know who they play, but last day, I think Middlesbrough can be very inconsistent. We know that. But if you look at the team they have, and I mean, I'm fairly sure they've kept the majority of last season's squad. Obviously, I think they've probably lost a few. However, I think Michael Carrick's a fine little manager in terms of his managerial position. I don't think he's any threat of being sacked anytime soon, regardless of what happened at the start of the season. Obviously, you mentioned him earlier. Lascelles, quality player. I didn't know much about him until last season, and boy, do I know now he's very good. I just think I think they'll get it. I'm not too sure they'll win it, but I think they'll definitely be up there and get playoffs.
Yep, no, that's fair enough. Obviously, I've put them up there, not quite to get in the playoffs, but I've put them up there myself. Now, for me, when it comes to the first team that are going to get in the playoffs for me, now, Lewis, give them massive credit earlier on, and I'm actually going to back them to get in the playoffs. They're my dark horses, you could say, and that is Bristol City. So, like we said earlier, they've been on the rise the last couple of years. Obviously they've got Cornick there, who hasn't, I feel his finishing's much improved since he's went there. Obviously they've got other good strikers as well, and I just think, again, it's another difficult place to go to. I remember we went there a couple of seasons ago, lost 2-0. I think we had 2-0 down in about 10 minutes. They beat Leicester last season. I watched that game. That was a good win for them. And I think they can really be knocking on the door, like we said earlier. And I've actually backed them to actually end up getting in the playoffs, which would be remarkable for them, really. So, yeah, I've gone with Bristol City to finish there. Your team to get your other team to get finish 5th in the playoffs, and then obviously two after that as well. Coventry, yeah.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
So I'll do mine after. It's fine. We'll do it one each now.
Coventry. I think. I don't. I mean, last season, when did they finish last season? I can't remember now. They dropped off. I mean, obviously losing Callum Hare is a big loss for them, for sure. Quality player, but obviously brilliant player. Wish he stayed at Villa. Screw you, board. But no, obviously losing Callum Hare is brilliant. I mean, for me, they are the best fans in the league. I don't. Well, one of them, obviously, Leeds are it's close to them. But no, I think they're a solid team, solid team, and their home form again absolutely is very good, and their away is the away form is close to probably their home form, and I generally think they could be in a chance to go up this season. I really, really do. You saw. I mean, you saw. Yeah, it's a different competition, but you saw the run they had in the FA Cup with Man U. In reality, they should have won that game. In reality,
beat a Premier League side as well to play Man United.
Well, yeah, and if you, I know we're not talking about the FA Cup, but they should have beaten Man United. That was not humble or offside. They're trying to give it us. But Brandon Thomas Sunday is a decent little signing, but I don't see how he plays personally. But if you look at their strike force again, Eddie Simpson and Haji Wright, it's not a bad little partnership.
Yeah.
You look at other players like Sakamoto, he's a decent little player. And unfortunately, he picked that season and ended in injury late last season. And I think that's why I hindered him a little bit because Sakamoto is very, very good on the ball. And yeah, I think they're definitely a team to watch this season. I mean, I can't really call them a shock because they've been around their last few seasons. But for some reason, I think they'll be knocking on the doors to maybe the top two.
Yeah, it could very well be, especially that attack. I do agree. But yeah, moving on to my team that I put in 5th place. And yeah, guys, it is actually my team. I don't know, man. I just think with us, we haven't done enough, if I'm going to be totally honest. Especially like I said earlier, when you look at what Sheffield United are doing, for example, that shows ambition that they want to go up. It's not like we're not. I believe that we're definitely trying to. It's just we haven't done it, and it's a worrying sign because we traditionally do business early. I can't. I can't really think of positivity when I think players like Ruddock coming on, and again, I love the guy. He's a legend, but if we want to be a high-end Championship team, low-end Premier League team, you have to move on. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just not convinced. Attacking-wise, we're stacked. We are stacked. We know that, but I just look elsewhere. It's come out today. Mengi is going to be fit for the Burnley game, which is massive. At least we got 2 centre backs instead of potentially having 1 available. And a lot of news come out on other players. Obviously, I'll get more into that on Sunday, but it's just not great, man. It's just not great. We haven't done enough for me. But again, I still think we'll be up there. We'll definitely be in the playoff conversation again. I can see that. But a couple of weeks ago, I'd have maybe said to you top 2. But we haven't done enough for me, especially when I look at what other teams have done. So I'm going to have to say us in 5th, which it is disappointing. If it comes straight down, 5th ain't great, in my opinion, if you're being honest. But I just don't think we've done enough, to be honest. Yes, we've kept a lot of the good, Doughty, Morris. Well, Morris was always going to stay, but Doughty, Elijah, players like that. But again, we knew Barkley was always going to go. Same with Lokonga. We just haven't replaced him really. Yeah, Baptiste, but we need more. You can't be having Pelly Ruddock as a second option. Not anymore for me. So I have to say we finished 5th, guys. I'm not too confident going into the season. I mean, last time I said 3rd, we'll win the playoffs, and that obviously happened. But we'll see. But yeah, I've gone with us to finish in 5th. Lewis, your team to finish in the the 5th place. 4th place. Sorry, you already put Coventry, didn't you?
Luton.
Yep, gone with us.
I think that'd be solid. This season. I think you kept the core of the squad, which is absolutely key. You kept some players that me personally, I thought would have left Doherty, Adebayo, Kaminsky to an extent, Menji.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bongle's always going to go. Barkley's always going to go. Morris is probably going to stay. But what's a bit very interesting to me is your strike room. Like, you know, you're looking at the likes of obviously Morris and Adebayo, but then rumours coming out recently. You know, if one of them gets injured or both of them gets injured, you're looking at Cody Woodrow because obviously we'll get what's in the thingy soon. And obviously Joe Taylor looks like he's on his way out.
Yep.
Which is surprising, especially what he did last. He didn't get many opportunities when he was in the league last time, but he looked like he did last season. He's more than good enough for this league. So I'm surprised about that one. But you know, you missed somebody in midfield, and obviously Campbell looked like he's on his way out.
Yep.
Pele, you're saying he's good, but probably missing something that he was beforehand. And obviously, the Conga's gone. The Camber's a few weeks off. You know, I just don't see, compared to teams above you, the qualities. I think there's definitely a gap between you and them at the stage.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree, mate. I totally agree with that, but it's frustrating, man. Frustrating. Like, yes, we're releasing these banging kits and I'm loving them, but can we release a player with them kits? You know what I mean? That would be sick. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about, but it's just frustrating, man. And the thing is, as well, I was looking at free agents the other day. The amount of free agents there is crazy. You know what I mean? That we can get. Like, we are, you know, I'm happy with the two signings we've done. You know, I don't want to make it sound like I'm not. I am. You know, especially on a free. You know, Baptiste, if he weren't injured as much, he would probably still be in the Brentford team. If I'm going to be honest, even my cousin said that he goes like home and away. Do you know what I mean? Brentford fan, but and Riyad Walters has got a lot of potential, but we just need more. You know, we technically only have 4 midfielders at the club. Do you know what I mean? Nakamba, Ruddock, obviously Campbell's going, so I don't count him. Baptiste and Clark. You know what I mean? It's not enough. We need more. And the defence, you know, we like Burke, but he's injury prone. Do you know what I mean? We know this now. Like, we need to, you know, be on it and try and replace him. You know, 2 centre backs against Burnley. It's worrying, man. It's worrying. It's better than 1. Don't get me wrong, but it's not great. It's not great, but yeah, that's that. Moving on to the next position, which is obviously, you know, moving on towards the other stages where it is that team that is going to be in the position where, you know, they get the playoff winners. Who have you gone with, Lewis, for your playoff winners? Yeah, to actually win them. To actually win it. So your third place team, essentially.
Right, yeah. Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, okay.
I think, yeah, they're really, really good side, and you know, the side they made and really gel. I mean, you've got the partnership of Hamer and O'Hare back together. And what they did last time in the championship was scary. Like, let's not beat around the bush. And overall, you know, they've still got some side, despite the people they've released, and they've lost Archie, who's a massive loss for them, I think, because well, for this league, not probably necessarily back in the Premier League days, but for this league, Archer's very, very good, and it doesn't look like he's going to be returning to him on a loan or anything like that. But if you look at it as a whole, you still, like, yeah, they might have this point deduction of -2, I think, either a minute you said.
Yeah, -2 confirmed. But again, it's like, sorry to interrupt, but it's like if they win tomorrow, it don't matter. Do you know what I mean?
It's the first game I've seen. It's still another 37 games to go. And people say, "Oh yeah, they'll struggle because of it." No.
It's minor points. You know what I mean? It's
look,
not like
look at who number 1 who have signed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, they've been well, not in the situation of point deduction before, but in terms of the situation of, probably being discounted in a sense.
Yeah.
You look at the squad. You look at them. You do say they are yo-yo clubs, so you're probably expecting to be up there, regardless of this point deduction. And the squad's more, the squad's more than good enough, without a doubt. So I'm going to say they'll 100% be up there. I don't think they'll quite have the toll on the other two teams, but I reckon it'll be a close fight.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially when you are a team relegated from the Premier League. Your aim is to go back there. And they should really, and like I said, they have shown ambition with them signings, definitely. But obviously, I haven't quite done my. I completely messed it up, guys. Because obviously, I'm flickering between two different screens. I haven't done my team to finish in that position, and my team is Sheffield United to finish fourth. Run through pretty much what you said, Lewis. The ambition, the signings they've done, and I just think with them, they'll be up there. I don't rate the manager highly, but when you're signing players like that, the players can probably do a bit of the work, to be honest. And again, they're another team, got relegated from the Premier League. You look at last season, all the teams that got relegated were up and around there. And I think it'd be the same with Sheffield United going into this season, really. I mean, a couple of months ago, I know too many Blades weren't too convinced going into the next season. I mean, Jamie obviously was in the comments earlier. He isn't, which is interesting, but I don't know, man. I think they'll be up there definitely, and they will get in the playoffs for me. But my team to win the playoffs is actually Coventry. I think like Lewis said, they're on the right track. They've gave teams games. Man United in the cup, they should have won that, like we mentioned. And they, I just think it's their time. I said the same thing for us, and it was. And I just think it's their time, man. Especially with how close they're getting in games. You look at their attack as well. It's a great attack, like we mentioned earlier. And I think it will be their time. It'll be the third recent time they've gone to Wembley, if that was the case. And they say third time lucky, don't they? And stuff like that. So I think it could be one of them for them guys. I'm going to be honest. And, it'd be good to see them in the Premier League. It'd be good. And I just think it's their time, really. But, yeah, we shall see if I get that right. And that is obviously, for me, them finishing third as well. We know traditionally in the Championship, third tends to go up. So, yeah, I reckon they'll finish third and win the playoffs. And in the top two, again, it's a lot of the top two that people have been going for. It's just in what order? What is your order, Lewis, for your final two?
Leeds second, Burnley first.
Yeah.
I think, Leeds losing Somerville is a big loss, however. You would imagine Leeds to, not panic about that and, move on and find a replacement quite quickly. Yeah, I don't know if they found it in time for maybe the first game of the season. But I don't think they're concerned. They've probably got decent money for him, so you got to think as well the money that they got for Archie Gray. Yeah, again, that's another big loss, but again, they'll probably find a way to replace him, probably loan deals or whatever. And I was thinking, you look at Leeds last season, they're probably unlucky to go up. Then, well, they were unlucky to go up. And you can't really see Leeds not, doing that again and getting close, and I think they will do it this time. And for Burnley, well, I think they're going near the favourite bodies to win the league. It's just classic Burnley, isn't it, really?
Yeah, literally. And yeah, my final two, is that same, in the same order. It's obviously Burnley and Leeds. Again, like you say, Lewis, they're a couple of months ago, maybe I said Leeds in the playoffs again. But I think, they've obviously had to sell. They have sold. And yeah, they're just showing ambition for me. Better ambition than Luton, if I'm going to be totally honest. And Burnley, again, they're another team, aren't they? I remember last time I said they finished second A lot of people had them lower because it's their first season, down after quite a while from the Premier League. But yeah, I think they'll win the league. I think they've kept core of the squad. Scott Parker's very experienced at this level. So yeah, I think they'll do it. So we'll see who's closer towards the end of the season. But that is our Premier League. Hopefully that's where Luton will be going back, but probably not at this rate. But yeah, that is our championship predictions. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who's got more of a chance of happening? Do you reckon? Obviously, we got quite a lot the same, to be fair. So it'd be interesting to see when it comes to that. But yeah, big up to everyone in the chat. But yeah, what we're getting to now, we'll do a little run through of the Championship Game Week 1 predictions. Won't go into detail too much. It's just mainly our teams that we'll discuss a bit more. And obviously, when we get to our teams, we'll discuss the outgoings, the ingoings as well. That's recently come out for both of our clubs. So obviously, 2 games tomorrow to kick off the Championship. And that consists of Preston versus Sheffield United and Blackburn versus Derby. Again, 2 interesting games to kick off. I do think that Preston one will be quite interesting because, like I say, traditionally they do start off well at home in the Championship. Like I say, it's just usually drop off a little bit, don't they, as the season goes on, like we mentioned earlier. But we start off with the Blackburn one. Obviously, it's top here. They're at home against Derby, newly promoted club. We've said Derby will finish bottom. What are you expecting from this game, Lewis?
A 1-1 draw. I just think it'll be a close affair. And I just don't think a winner's going to be able to get decided.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, me, like I say, I look at it and I think to myself, well, you're at home against a newly promoted club. They are both teams I have said have gone down. However, I just think to myself, well, you should really, be trying to aiming to win, especially with, like we mentioned earlier, they've kept Schmodix so far. I think they'll win, to be quite honest with you. But I do think, again, I think it'll be close. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1 in this one to Blackburn. I think they'll edge it, really, when it comes to that. Moving on to the next game, that is obviously, like I say, Preston, Sheffield United. Preston, I mean, like I say, they start off well at home, traditionally in the Championship over the years. Taking on Sheffield United, though, giving their business, best set of business in the league, they would be the favourites on paper. But I've got a feeling it's going to be a very lively opening game in the Championship, this one. And there's always one game that has a mental score. I don't think this will quite be that game, but I can see there being a lot of goals in this game. I'm actually going to go with a Desmond. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw, man. I think there's going to be goals, and I think they might hold them a little bit from, getting their first 3 points, Sheffield United. So I'm going to say a 2-2 draw in that game. Lewis, what do you reckon for that game?
I've gone with 2-0 Sheffield United. I just think Sheffield United will be too strong for them, I think. Coming out of the Premier League, obviously, you want to get a quick start, try and have confidence, because, that you can go back to the league. Obviously, it's early days, so you can't really say, yeah, not the fucking Football League we got. Or I'm sure of City. We probably will do that. So to be fair. Anyway, I just think Sheffield United will be too strong. The business they've done, I think they've clicked quite well. Obviously, they've lost William Osula today to Newcastle. But I expect, I don't think it'll be easy, but I do expect Sheffield United to win this. So 2-0.
2-0. Nice. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I'll let you start off with the next game, obviously, because it is the opening day. Obviously, a lot of the games are at 12:30 on Saturday. Cardiff versus Sunderland.
2-1 Cardiff. I think Cardiff being at home, I think that'll help them a lot, and I think the signings they've done, I think they will help them massively. And I couldn't listen off to anything like that, but I just think Cardiff are think yeah, that you saw it in Matt Dixon. I think that'll be the surprise package this season, and I can just see him doing one over Sunderland. I mean, I kind of hope not because of the journey that Sunderland have got to take to get there. But I generally do believe Cardiff win this 2-1. But again, a very close game. I think most of the games will be close. But yeah, I think Cardiff take this by 2-1.
I mean, again, when you look at it, it's opening weekend, isn't it? So traditionally, the games are quite hard to predict because you don't really know what to expect. So a lot of these games I've gone with, I'll be honest, I've gone with tight predictions myself. Cardiff versus Sunderland, for me, do you know what? I'm going to say Sunderland win. As much as I think Cardiff will do well this year, I think Sunderland will get that away win. And I'm going to go for 1-0. And if I'm correct in saying, I think that was the score last season when they played each other at the Cardiff ground. It was 1-0 or 2-0. It was something like that. I know they got out there with a clean sheet. I know that for sure. But yeah, I just think they'll edge it. It'll be a close game. Obviously, Ethan Horvath obviously has gone to, he was at Cardiff last season. Obviously, former Luton keeper. I mean, he should really do well for them. And again, as much as, I much prefer Kaminsky, he did obviously, he was part of that winning team in the playoffs. So he should bring that experience as well, really. Within Cardiff to, have a playoff. 2-0, sorry, yeah. I know it's 1 or 2-0. I know it's 1 or 2. But, we'll move on to the next game, Lewis, which is your side. You will be at the game. You're taking on Bristol City. How are you feeling going into it?
Can we skip? Can we forfeit in this?
Can we skip,
Yeah, can we skip? No, in all seriousness. I honestly can't say anything but Bristol City win, honestly. I don't want to say it, but I will say it. And, it's... The recruitment's been very lethargic, very slow. Been rumours, but nothing's actually been going in the dark. I mean, I've just heard apparently Liam Miller will apparently be here for the Bristol game. Whether he's actually able to play, I don't know. But he won't start anyway because even if he can play, because he hasn't played any pre-season or anything for us. And obviously the keeper situation, no one knows going to bring a start now. This new keeper come in. That's just come in. But no, I just don't see SC goals from this game. So 3-1 Bristol.
Jeez. Fair enough. I mean, we've both said Bristol City will have a really good season, so it'll be interesting to see if they can kickstart, that away at Hull. 3-1. I mean, for me, I have to agree, Lewis, in the sense of, you're moving like us in the business, in the sense of slow signings, and it's just not looking great, if we're going to be honest.
It's looking bleak. I think that's what I'd say.
Comes to that, I mean, yeah, exactly that. I mean, for me, I don't think it'll be as, convincing as that, personally. But I do think they'll win. I'm going to say 2-1 to Bristol City. I think they'll edge it. I don't think it'll be a walk in the park, essentially, for them. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Moving on to the next game. I'll do this game, which is obviously Leeds versus Portsmouth. I mean, great away day, for Portsmouth to start their, season back in their second division. But they are taking on Leeds, who are a team, again, that we both expect to automatically go up, as it stands. And we will stick by that, of course. And again, I would say if it was at Fratton Park, it could be a totally different game, and it could be quite interesting. But I think Leeds being at home, especially if their expectations this season, they should really be winning this game, especially at home anyway. Like I say, so for me, I'm going to go for 3-1. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory for Leeds. But I think Portsmouth, like I say, they've got our second game of the season. I think they'll give us a right game. Lewis's phone is falling down the table like Watford, you know what I mean? So that's looking great there. But yeah, 3-1 Leeds for me. Like like I say, if it's at Fratton Park, different game, but 3-1 Leeds. Lewis, your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I joined on that 3-1. I just think the sheer quality of Leeds United was show against Portsmouth, and like I said, I don't think Portsmouth will go down, but it's not a nice fixture to come up and get. I mean, you do usually see a I think a promoted team get one of the top boys, and Portsmouth, you probably got one of the hardest games in the league by far. I mean, obviously, it's nice to get them done early, out of the way.
Yeah.
But I just think the quality would just properly show through. But it's a nice test. It's a nice test for Portsmouth, so we can see where we are and where we need to improve.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the benefit. I mean, could say it's a benefit, could say it's not, but in that aspect, it could be for them if they lose, quite heavily, like we think they will. That's no disrespect. Like I say, I think at home they'll give it a right go, but I just think Leeds, they're with their ambitions this season, they could look at it and go, okay, we got to the end of the month, so we can see where else we need to go. You know what I mean, sort of thing. So we'll see. But we've both gone with the same prediction there. Moving on to the next game, Middlesbrough versus Swansea. Lewis, I'll let you go first on this one, mate.
I've gone with a 2-1 Middlesbrough win. I think with being at the Riverside, you're probably going to have to put Middlesbrough favourites. Obviously, don't really know how pre-season's gone for either team. Don't really know how pre-season's gone for anyone really, but obviously from City. But pre-season's done, dusted. I don't think teams are really bothered in a sense about them. That's just getting your legs back warmed up and things. But I just think Middlesbrough take it quite late on. I think it'll be a very close game. I think it'll be quite even. I expect both these teams to have fairly decent seasons. And yeah, I just think Middlesbrough, again, I think they're slightly better than Swansea. And I think if you look at the squads now, I think Middlesbrough's slightly more equipped, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Again, a lot of, close games, odd one-goal wins for, obviously, us, what we said in games, bar the Leeds game, obviously. For me, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. If I was to edge someone, I probably would go Middlesbrough because they're at home, like you say, but I've got a feeling it's going to be a draw. Both teams are going to be, it's going to be quite a tactical battle, I reckon. And I just think, it's going to be one where, Middlesbrough are still learning things. So the same as Swansea, because again, they're both teams we have up there to be, in the conversation for the playoffs. Obviously, you put them in there, but I just think, I think it'll be a draw really. I think it'll be a close 1-1 draw. We shall see with that. Moving on to the next game, Millwall versus Watford. I mean, interesting game. I mean, I know Watford do struggle to score goals against Millwall in recent years, especially at their ground. And Millwall, like I said, I think they'll have a decent season. I think, like I said earlier, Tanganga is going to be massive for them and stuff like that. And I actually think they'll win. I do think it'll be a close game. Again, another close game for me, but I'm going to edge Millwall to beat them. I'm going to say 1-0 to Millwall in this game. Your thoughts on it, Lewis?
Yeah, I'm going to go 0-0. I think both of these teams, they're adapting to probably new ways, Watford especially. I don't think if any team will nick it, I think it will be Millwall. But for me, I'm going to go 0-0. I just think it'll be one of them where it'll be an okay game, but nothing really special happens.
Yeah, I think it'll be a narrow win. Like I say, a 1-0. I agree. I could even see Tanganga scoring from like a set piece or something to win it. I could see something like that, but we shall see. Moving on to the next game. Obviously, I'll let you go with this one. Oxford versus Norwich. Now, massive game for Oxford. Like I said earlier, these newly promoted teams, home form could be crucial if they are to stay up. And I think it's a decent game where they can get something, out of this game. What do you reckon, Lewis?
I think they'll give it a good go. I just don't think they'll have enough to get something from this game. I think Norwich, realistically, you'd probably look at them and say they are definitely a strong team, and you would back them to win. So I'm going to back them to win. I'm going to say 3. I get another 3-1, but I don't think it'll be a 3-1 where it's an absolute hammering or anything like that. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be something along the lines of a lucky goal or whatever. I do expect Oxford to give it a go, but again, I'm not too sure if they've replaced Josh Murphy, and obviously that's just a massive in terms of the way they played last season. So it's a big loss.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%, mate. I agree with that. Like I say, how good he was in that final was it's incredible, really. For Oxford when they went up. But yeah, my prediction, like I say, I've got a feeling, Oxford are going to get something in this game. I think first game at home, it's a good opportunity. Like I say, I think Norwich will be in the playoff, contention again, but I just don't think they'll quite get in them this year, like I said earlier. So I think it's a good first game for Oxford to try and get something, and I think they will. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. I think they're going to get a draw in this game, which would be a very good start for them to life in the Championship. And, it could be a confidence booster, especially against Norwich, a team that a lot of people would still put up there. So we shall see when it comes to that. But the next game is QPR versus West Brom. Now, obviously, we said about West Brom, the financial troubles and stuff like that. QPR, obviously, Lewis, you said they'd go down. I said they'd just survive. But I look at it, they ended the season well last season, at home especially. With the West Brom situations as well, I think QPR will edge a win in this game. Again, another close game for me, but a QPR win. I'm going to say 2-1 win for QPR in this game. What do you reckon, Lewis?
1-1 draw. I think it'll be one of them where it won't be the greatest game in the world. I think it'll just be 2 kind of early goals, and then they'll just kind of not play out for the draw, but it'll just a draw. I just think it'll be one of them where they'll try, but no success. And I just think it's 2 teams that's going to be struggling for goals this season, and I think this game will show that in abundance. And I mean, thankfully, if it does play out that way, it's still the window. I mean, West Brom don't know what you could do about getting a striker, but QPR, they can definitely do something about it if that's the case.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I could see a draw. Just think QPR maybe edge it being at home, but we shall see. Moving on to the next game, which is Stoke City versus Coventry. I mean, we've both, have, shall I say, high expectations for Coventry this season. Stoke, we think it might be another mid-table season. What are you thinking in this game, Lewis? Coventry win?
Yeah, 2-1 Coventry. I think they'll nick it just. I don't think any game will be an absolute blowout first game of the season. I might be surprised for 3 and City might get about 5-0, but we move. Don't laugh at that. But no, I think it'll be one of them where it'll be close, and I think Johansson could keep him in the game at times. But I do expect Coventry to get the win in the end. You look at the squad again. They are probably a better team, and on paper, on the odds, probably say they're favourites to win it. So we'll see. But for me, I'll go 2-1 Cov. And I think that's Spencer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, again, I have to agree with the Coventry win, especially with, like we said, our, expectations for them this season. I have to back them to win this game. I'm going to go with another goal. added on for Coventry, which makes it a 3-1 victory. My second 3-1 victory, I reckon, for this first game week. I just think, the expectations, like I say, I just think they need to go out, especially that firepower they've got up front. I think they can score, a couple of goals, to be honest with you. So 3-1 for me when it comes to that. And then moving on to the next game, I'll let you do this game this time, Lewis, because the last game is obviously Luton. But this is the game on Sunday, which is obviously Sheffield Wednesday versus Plymouth, which could be quite an interesting game, I reckon, to be honest. 4 p.m. kickoff. I might watch it, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it could be an interesting one. I think, I don't think it'll be the most amazing football you're going to see all weekend. But I think I look at the two teams. It's at Hillsborough, so I'm going to back Sheffield Wednesday for a 1-0 win. I think, it'll be a close affair where not a lot really goes on, I think. There's obviously everyone's fan of the defeat, this and another. But I think Sheffield United do just nick Sheffield Wednesday, do just nick it.
Don't say that to Sheffield United fans to get next.
Sheffield Wednesday, and I think they'll nick it just via like a Bayern winner, knowing him.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, you don't reckon there'll be many goals. Me, however, on the other end, like I said, there's always one game in the opening weekend, whatever league it is, you look at it and you go, wow, geez, how has that happened? How has there been that many goals? I've got a feeling it's going to be this game because, we both reckon they'll be in the same sort of position, which is obviously, obviously the relegation conversations. I just think it's going to be a crazy game. Rooney's first game in charge as well. You know what? If I was to back with someone, I agree with you. It would be Sheffield Wednesday because they're at home. But I reckon, you know what? I'm going for a 3-3 draw. 6-goal thriller, mate. You heard it here first. I've just got a feeling there's going to be goals all over the place. There's always one game. Like I say, there's always one game you look at and they have goals all over the place. So I reckon it'll be this. All right, sound. You've heard that live on stream, people. Yeah,
you've heard on stream. That happens. You get a £5.
Sound. There we go, guys. There we go. We heard that on stream. But yeah, moving on to the last game, which is obviously the Luton game, Monday night. Obviously, I'll be back again with a watch along. First of many. Obviously, I'm hoping to go to a lot of games this season, but I will be doing a watch along for this one. We've got a lot of content building up to it as well, and after, make sure you check that out. But yeah, this game, I mean, two teams that you would say would be up there. Burnley, obviously, a lot of people's winners for the league, or at least top two. And again, I just think they're in a better position than us, when it comes to business and that so far. I remember last year we didn't beat them. We drew at their ground, lost at home. Very disappointing game at home because we scored early. We scored in the second half. Elijah and Chong made a massive difference. And then 30 seconds later, we concede. And it wasn't great, and I've got a feeling, unfortunately, that they're going to beat us again by that scoreline. So I'm going to say 2-1. I'm going to say 2-1 to Burnley, the exact same score as it was last year. But Lewis, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. 2-1 Burnley. I think overall, we've said it all night. They are essentially the better equipped side, and you look at the two sides, and in terms of, especially at midfield, you look at midfield, and they definitely have the better midfield, and that's what you need, especially in a game like this. It's especially, the midfield basically gives a key in the team. So people say, with you obviously missing Nakamba and more, and your defence looking stringy at the minute. I don't see anything but a Burnley win, unfortunately.
Yep, no, I have to agree, bro. I mean, if we get someone in, maybe I could say a draw, but I'm going to stick with the 2-1, obviously. Obviously, me and my dad will get more into it on Sunday. Like I say, team news has already come out, which I'm very surprised about, if I'm being honest. But yeah, we'll get more into it then, and obviously you get his prediction. Hopefully, it's more, it's a good prediction compared to mine. But yeah, I just can't be confident, man. We just haven't done enough, really. It could be a massive game looking back on the end of the season. I know it's only the first game, but it could be massive looking back at it, especially with the expectations of both teams wanting to go back up. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to go through some comments when it comes to people's table predictions because there's a few in. I don't want to miss them. Jamie said top 3 teams will go up. I think is Leeds first, Sunderland second. Geez, that's very interesting. Coventry third. I mean, I've gone Coventry third as well. Sunderland second. I mean, interesting. We shall see. Hanno's from 17th, by the way, to 6th is Portsmouth 17th, Swansea 16th, Stoke 15th, 14th Preston, 13th Cardiff, 12th Blackburn, 11th Millwall, 10th Bristol City, Norwich 9th, Hull 8th. He's gone Hull 8th, Lewis. Got more confidence than you, mate. When it comes to that.
I'll take it if it happens, but at the minute I can't say it. We're doing this as it stands, and from what we're hearing in terms of the transfer front.
And that's the annoying thing about the transfer window. It don't shut till the end, so our opinions could change, but obviously we can't change it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's annoying.
I mean, yeah, this is finalising it, and I'll still stick with it because I'm not too convinced in the way we play under this new manager, and I might think to myself, if we start well and then we carry on in a bit, then possibly, but it won't matter to us because we've put our predictions in, and if it's wrong, so be it. That's just the fun of that's just fun of being in the championship, I guess.
Yeah, exactly that. And then his rest of the teams, so teams that will be in the playoffs and winning the league, etc. It's got Middlesbrough to finish 5th, so again put them in there like you, Lewis. Coventry 4th, so space below. Obviously, where I put them, you put them 4th as well, didn't you, Lewis? Actually, thinking about it.
I put 5th.
Oh, 5th, sorry. 5th. Oh, no, you put us 4th, actually, didn't you? Sorry.
Yeah.
3rd, Luton. So, again, he reckons we'll finish 3rd again. 2nd, West Brom, really? With these financial troubles? Jeez, I'm surprised about that. And then Burnley top, yes. No,
that's the majority of people's prediction at
yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, Aidan, who is a Luton fan, says Luton finished top just. I mean, I'd love that, mate, but I just feel we haven't done enough. If I'm going to be honest, like I say, we've still got the end of the month, but again, these players are going to have to come straight in now and just click, and it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating. And then Jamie, who's come from your chat, Lewis, it says Luton 6th, so us to get in the playoffs again. Middlesbrough 5th, again, a lot of people put Middlesbrough in the playoffs. Coventry 4th, another Coventry 4th. Burnley 3rd, okay, interesting. That's probably actually the lowest I've seen them. Sheffield United 2nd.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Sheffield United 2nd and Leeds 1st. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. It'd be interesting. Big up to Geordie.
Yeah, I just don't see that, but I just can't see Burnley not winning the league.
It'd be weird to see Burnley in the playoffs for me. It would be weird. But yeah, big up to yourself, mate. Obviously, Newcastle fan says Borough 2nd, Sunderland 24th. Just kidding. Would be limbs for you, but
imagine.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man. I mean, obviously, we briefly touched on it earlier, Lewis. He signed a new keeper. I mean, you told me that he was part of the Champions League when they played Man City for young boys. Would you make it?
Sorry.
Would you make it a signing?
I don't really know much about him, to be honest. I mean, I've heard it's very, very good, but I heard Pando was very, very good, and it doesn't seem that Pando is very, very good. I don't know. I mean, can I really rely on one game against Man City? No.
Even at what was the score? I know it's Man City.
Blimey hell. You're asking the hang on. Blimey hell. I don't know the geezer's name. I don't know what season it was. Hang on. Man City versus this is gonna sound so weird, young boys. Oh, it's 3-0 City. Hang on. Results and team. Oh, hang on. Give me BBC or Yofi, that'll do. Or Central, that will do. Give me the lunch, thank you. So yeah, Anthony Rasiopi, who obviously the new keeper, did play. He got a 7.5 rating in a 3-0 defeat, which says to me that he had a fairly decent game. But I'm not going to lie in that game. I mean, don't get me wrong. Young boys, they tend to win the league. They do tend to win this league. But in reality, who else really is there? I mean, I think they're like Basel. I think they're that league. But that's about it, really. Like, let's be honest. That league and the Championship is two completely different leagues. I mean, to play in the Champions League, you've got to be a half decent player. But when you're playing for that sort of team, can you really look at it? I'm not too sure.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. It's interesting. I mean, we know Hull haven't had the best luck, if we're being honest, with goalkeepers over the years. I mean, Darlow's probably the only one I can really think of that's come in, and done decent. But
yeah, sure.
I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it, with you guys? I mean, for us guys, it's frustrating. I mean, I've just seen now, Rob Edwards is, said it again. We're trying hard and that, which, I believe him, but it's frustrating because, like I say, we usually do business early, but yeah, it looks like McAtee is going to be on his way out. I don't know where, because 1 minute I'm hearing Wrexham, next minute I'm hearing Bolton. I mean, for me, it's a difficult one because I said it a couple of weeks ago. I'd like to keep him. Definitely. I think his quality and we've seen that, but I just think at the same time, Rob Edwards has probably said to him, "You're not going to start." And I know people are not too keen on Woodrow, including myself, anymore. However, you've got other players there like Jacob Brown as that backup option as well, which people are forgetting about, to be honest. And even if Taylor goes back out on loan, you would say he's still ahead, and I just think that's our problem. We've got too many attackers. It's good to have competition, but we've got way too many. I wish we had that many midfielders and defenders at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Fit and ready to go. That would be ideal. But yeah, it's a bit of a gutting one, really, if he does go, because again, he never really got that opportunity. But we shall.
Did he actually play?
What's that?
Did he actually play for you?
I can't even think of a game that he has. No, other than the friendlies, no, I can't think. Not even FA Cup or anything like that, because he was on loan, wasn't he, last season? So, and the season before that, I think we loaned him out again, didn't we? I swear we loaned him back to somewhere.
Yeah, did he go back to Grimm's? No.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, he did. Yeah, exactly. So that's the frustrating thing, when you look at him and Taylor has actually played for us, in the player final, but again, he hasn't got enough opportunities. People are saying, "Oh, he's not suited. He's not going to be suited to the way we play." But it's like at the same time, it's like, well, what's the plan B if plan A don't work? Do you know what I mean? You can bring players like him on, and he can bring a different dimension. I don't understand really, but we shall see, man. But yeah, that is that. A bit of a longer one today, but obviously that is because of everything we had to get into. But yeah, hopefully we'll do this weekly on both channels. So make sure you do subscribe to Lewis as well. He's obviously he's back, after a very long while, and hopefully he'll be doing more stuff as well. Not just this. So do just stay tuned. Obviously, you know me. I'll be back again. Obviously, I'll put shorts out, but over the next couple of days. And obviously, I've been reacting to the kits recently that have come out, so make sure you check them out. Big up to everyone that has. And then, yeah, I'll be back again on Sunday with obviously the hat show. And then Monday, I'll be back again with a watch along. And shout out to David. Going forward, every single game I don't go to, which like I say, I'm hoping to go to a lot, but every single one I don't go to, he'll be doing fan cams if he's there himself. So massive shout out to him for that. And obviously, I have a few other fans talk about the games and that as well. And yeah, man, hopefully everyone enjoyed the fan cams from the Celtic Vigo game and everything like that. But yeah, that's everything left to me to say. Lewis, anything else you want to say about anything, mate?
No, not really. I mean, don't always expect me and Tyler. There's obviously 2 more people in the pipeline, but unfortunately they couldn't. Well, find more anyway, but they couldn't make it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm back, I guess. You know, it's been a while. I mean, I think you kind of got to thank Tyler because Tyler did kind of talk back into it in a sense. Like, I mean, and I'm in it a little bit, but then I thought, really, like, is it worth it? But I've got time on my hands now, so something to do, I guess, isn't it, really? Yeah, I mean, this shouldn't be it. You know, I'm hoping to do little things. No, we haven't really just started, Harry. We've been on live for 2 hours and 5 minutes. We have not really started.
I swear it. No, it should say, it started 2 hours ago, yeah. Trust me.
Yeah, 2 hours ago, we have not just started. You've been on board. Yeah, mate. Yeah, but good for you. Come on, actually, mate. So Harry, he should be with us hopefully from next week, if available, of course. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to next week at some point. I'll say, we should be able to. But yeah, this won't be it because obviously with me being send the link. Charlie, can you send them a link?
Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah, you can off now if you want.
My laptop decides to load out here. In fact,
obviously, just while we're doing this, obviously, with me also having commitments with Villa, when I can, I'm hoping to potentially do some watch along for the Champions League games and Prem games, possibly. I'll have to see how things collide and things like that on a time basis. Hopefully, I'll be able to get on Tyler's channel.
Yeah, man.
Times. I mean, technically, this is Tyler's channel as well as mine.
Yeah.
What do I say?
You'll be on this when we play Hull. You'll be on. Don't worry about that.
No, yeah, that won't there. But no, yeah. There will be more things. Just finding things to do, I guess. But Harry should be here shortly, I hope.
Yeah, we'll both see him when he's in. I've sent it to him now.
Sound.
So yeah, mum. Yeah, no, a lot of stuff, people, man. Oh, here he is. Here he is.
Yeah.
You're a bit late. You're a bit late.
Come on.
Yeah,
man's a football shirt collector. Do you know what I mean? The amount of shirts he's got. Come on. Love that.
Mate, what a club. Oh, shit, there. Yeah, what a club.
I'll tell you what, Ajax do make banging kits. I'll give you that. I still want that one from a couple of years ago when they had that, that black one.
Yeah.
With the green on it and the red and all that. Yeah, man. But yeah, Harry, man, big up to yourself.
All right, mate?
Yeah, all right, mate.
Fuck yeah, no. All I'll say is, fuck Norwich City.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're having none of that. None of that while we're doing these. Jesus Christ.
Maybe another time we'll do Harry's brief predictions, I guess, because he's a very interesting. I'll tell you that. So,
Can I just say my bottom 3 right now?
We'll fly over them.
Say your bottom 3. Go on, say your bottom 3 then.
Derby rock bottom.
Yeah, same as me.
Norwich City. And Hull City. There you go.
You're bad. Goodbye. Nice knowing you.
You sure you want on it?
Goodbye. Nice knowing you. We'll see you later. Bye, Harry.
Oh my God.
And then top 2, Luton to win the league.
How bad enough.
Oh, what? No, I like that. Oh, man, you didn't need to kick him off of that bit. That bit was all right.
And then Luton to win the league. I think, I did put that. Burnley, I think I put second. And then top 6, I think Sheffield United, I put third, Leeds 4th, Coventry 5th, and Sunderland 6th.
As you can tell, Harry's hoping to win the predictions league and not the table league. The table league points will go to the prediction league after the league's finished. So if Harry's top of the league by a few points, he probably won't finish top of the league. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, someone else said in the chat, Luton top earlier. I mean, that was a Luton fan, to be fair, but you got more confidence than me, Harry, mate. I'll be so honest. I'll be so honest, mate. Like I said, we haven't done enough for me, man. Like
McAtee leaving as well, hasn't
he? Yeah. I spoke on it like pretty much before you came on. The thing for me is where? Do you know what I mean? Because 1 minute I'm hearing Wrexham, next minute I'm hearing Bolton. You know, it's frustrating, man. But what can we do? Rob Edwards probably said to him, "You're not going to get, you know, a place in the team because, Woodrow, you know, we don't really want him going forward if we're being honest. But you know, we've got Brown as well, Taylor. You know, I know he's been rumoured with Huddersfield, but I think it probably is going to be a loan if he goes. So I think, you know, he's ahead of him as well. Nelson, you know, he proper wants Nelson to be in the team. So it's frustrating, but is what it is, really, isn't it?
Anyway, I think that's everything covered, is it not?
Yeah, no, it's everything, mate. It's everything. It's a bit longer than we wanted it to be, but again, we've done the whole table, the game week 1. It won't be that long generally. It's just first one.
I think next week the plan probably just be any news regarding transfers. Obviously, that's still open. Little review on other games, and obviously your main reviews for Luton and Hull.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously game week 2 predictions, and then that should be it nearly. But obviously, what you see in the title tonight, that there was something like that every week, hopefully, if there's something interesting about the club. Nice. Luton, I don't really have something interesting about the club because, you know, they might go down. I'm kidding. But no, that's everything from me tonight. Tyler, anything to add?
No, not really, mate. Like I say, there'll be the titles, you know, they won't just be standard like they were, you know. Obviously, if there's a game, like, I don't know, like Luton beat Burnley, which I can't see if I'm being honest at this moment in time. But if we do, you know, it'd be saying like, you have them ideas, you know what I mean? We have them ideas, but yeah, man, it'll be good. It'll be good. You know, hopefully for your sake, Lewis, Hull don't get slapped up like you think, but.
No, I don't think it'd be a case of get slapped up. I just think it'd be the case of, you know, they take the opportunities when they come, and because I think that's the issue with Hull. We don't have that, you know, that cutting edge.
I agree. I agree.
Especially
when you compare it to last year, 100%.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's hard to compare this year to last year because obviously people said that kind of we had this sort of team going into the season last year. And then we got these like middle of August, January and whatnot, but I don't think it was that case. I can't lie. To be honest, I can't remember. But yeah, it won't be the boring titles we had last year. Well, not last year because we knew last year. The year before.
Yeah, a long while ago.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for me. That's it for Tyler. Harry, I mean, you're 2 hours late, but anything to add?
Oxford 3, Norwich 0, and up right on.
So, I mean, it's on both channels, but obviously, no, I don't want to remove you from stage. Tyler, where can people find you?
Yeah, just obviously T-Boys TV. I mean, a lot of people have obviously tuned in from that, of course. So yeah, big up. But make sure you subscribe to Lewis, man. I'll put his channel in the description. Obviously, I didn't know Harry was going to jump on. But next time, obviously, I'll have his in the description as well. And yeah, man, just subscribe, you know what I mean? All of that. I mean, hopefully Luton win or at least get a result, but I'm just not confident. I have to be real, you know what I mean? I can't be, you know, I cannot be, but I'm not going to go into that too much. But like I say, Sunday, Hatter Show, me and my dad will be back. and it'll be quite interesting to see what he's got to say on it. Monday, obviously, I'll do a watch along, and then bang, fan cams will be out as well on that day. So, yeah, man, make sure you tune in, and obviously there'll be shorts over the next couple of days as well. So, yeah, man, big up.
Yeah, you can find me on obviously here, Pro Sports. Obviously, make sure you subscribe to Tyler. I mean, I'm sure most of you probably already are. And yeah, the last thing I'll add is obviously to everybody, if there is anything suspected in your area over the weekend, make sure you stay safe, because I've heard rumors that it could affect some games. But if obviously it does come to your area, stay safe and obviously stay out of it, I guess, because yeah. But let's see what happens, and hopefully Hull can be better than what I think. And but yeah, thank you for obviously watching, and it'd be nice to see you tuning in next week or whenever we can do it next. But obviously, thanks for tuning in. And Harry, I mean, you're traveling late, but where can we find you?
Romy Ansel, yeah, on YouTube. So subscribe, people, and up close and keep right on.
You know I'm championship for sure.
Well, to be
Anyway.
fair, actually, guys, Harry's obviously put comments in the chat, so you'll be able to click on his channel there, actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah, I think that's everything, is it?
Yeah, it's everything. It's everything, mate.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you obviously enjoyed it from both sides, it'd be nice to leave a like and subscribe. Obviously, to tell would appreciate it. I'm back.
Yeah, man. We need to get that 2,000, man. That we've been trying to get there for so long. It's actually quite mad. And we are saying that before we cut off, Lewis. There has actually been 3 new subscribers for myself in the stream. So yeah, big up for that, guys. I don't know if there's been any new ones for you, Lewis. Has there been any new ones for you?
Let me just check my.
So yeah, man, we're getting even closer, guys. We literally.
Let me check my YouTube.
My maths is crap. 32 away from 2,000. So come on.
I
Come on.
probably doubt not that because most of the views probably from your side, but it's
Got quite a bit, mate. Got quite a bit.
I'll just have a quick look on the YouTube on my laptop because I'm using my
I
phone.
would be able to look for you because I had your account, but I don't have it no more, so I can't look.
No. Well, I've done is refresh it. No, nothing of its time. But obviously, people probably don't know I'm back yet, so we'll see what happens every time.
Yeah, man. First one for a while. So
yeah, sorry.
It's first one for a while, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you like, please obviously like and subscribe. It'd be nice to see you back in the comments next week. But that's everything from me. That's everything from Tyler and Harry, but he didn't really get much input because I was late. But I'm trying to find the outro and I can't find it anywhere. Yeah, it's because you have it, that's why. In fact, it will be on it somewhere, I don't know where.
Yeah, it's on there. It's on there.
There it is, I found it.
Yeah.
I think that's the one. Yeah, that'll be the one, won't it?
Yeah, the 8-second.
Yeah, thank you very much. Go ahead, like and subscribe to both channels and Harry included. Until next time, we'll see you later. Thank you and goodbye.